to my kitchen, and I'm not really sure what else you're being welcomed into, but welcome. We're gonna figure out what this turns into. So I have a story. It is not a storybook, as you can see. It's a cookbook, but I have a story about how I found this cookbook, or how it found me. So I started a new job the other day at the university I graduated from, and I had a lunch break, and I wanted a cool, refreshing drink. So I walked down to the the grocery store. You do not get refreshing drinks at the bookstore. I walked to the grocery store, and I got my refreshing drink. I was very happy. I took in the breeze, the trees, the flowers on the way there. That was nice too. And then on the way back, I was lucky enough to spot a little book box, a little community book box, which I'm seeing more and more of around town, and quite frankly, I love it. I was never really a huge book person. Had a lot of trouble concentrating, reading. It's always been a bit challenging for me, but being a bit more gentle with that part of myself, and not telling myself I have to be the world's best reader or I have to read books at the same pace or the same intensity that everyone else does. But I need to read, and some reading is better than no reading, and books come in all forms, as you can see. There's a lot of reading involved in even books which aren't chapter books or super intense. So I've been enjoying all kinds of books lately, but my favorite thing about those book boxes is just the community aspect. You know, there's nothing costs anything, everything's free. It's very it's very selfless. People go and will either leave a book or take a book. And from what I've been doing, I guess over the past couple months, just participating in this book exchange, I've noticed it's given me a much deeper appreciation of reading and sharing and ownership. So taking a book and looking at it and saying, what can this book give me, or what can it teach me? What can I learn from this? And if I can't answer that question, I want to start reading. And if I still can't answer that question, maybe it's not the right book for me. In which case, back to the book box, toss her in there, and it's going to be the right book for someone else. One man's trash book is another man's treasure book. So I think this was someone's trash, but this is an absolute treasure. This is a work of art. I went back after my quick stop to the store and started taking a look through this book. I was instantly wondering what date it was from, because it looks old as hell. And as you can see, maybe you can't, maybe you can, a bunch of pages have been ripped out. So I have no idea when it's from, based on this book. Checked on the back, checked on the front, no idea. So it's a bit of a mystery book, and as I was trying to figure it out, my coworkers were a little bit interested in my cookbook. So as I started reading through, I noticed that these have some very interesting recipes, and it became pretty evident that this book was from a while ago. It's not a 21st century cookbook. Don't get me wrong, I do love 21st century cookbooks, and I've found some great recipes lately, but there's something special about something old. So as we were stumbling across this, we found some very nice sounding meals, such as Diana Johnson's chicken enchiladas, or Julia's black beans and rice with tomato sauce. I found it interesting just the different style it was written in. I think our world has changed a lot. I believe this was 1980 it was written in. I found out, looked online. A lot of things have changed since 1980. Yeah. It's really interesting though, just how it's different, the way they measure things, the way they divide things up. I'll try and find an example. Maybe I'll just address them as they come up. But something that we really thought was interesting was a recipe called banana tofu peanut butter sandwiches. Now, if you know me, I'm a massive banana fan. I eat bananas every day. I think they're great. Just very versatile, on the go. You can grab one. It's got its little package on there, so you don't have to wrap it in anything or do anything. You just take it on the go, and when you're ready to eat it, you pop it open. Or you can be like a monkey and open it the proper way from the bottom. They do this weird thing where I'm from in England, where they like plastic, unfortunately, and they will actually sell unwrapped fruit, like a peeled banana or a peeled orange, in a wrapped kind of container. It's like a styrofoam tray with an orange inside that's unpeeled and wrapped up. And I think that sums up everything that's wrong with food and eating and how we view food. Is that just sums it up. So banana tofu peanut butter sandwiches, I initially thought, oh, that's gross, that's disgusting. And then I thought, oh wait, I like peanut butter, I like banana, I love sandwiches, and I do like me some tofu. I'm not sure how they combine, but I can look at it and say, ooh, or I can do something about it and make it. So I chose the other option. So as I was deciding that I was going to make banana tofu peanut butter sandwiches, a coworker mentioned, Peter, thank you Peter, I think as a joke that I should make these. I said that I would make these for my coworkers, and I think they thought I was joking, but I was not. And if you know me and I say something and it's true, or I think it's true, and someone assumes I'm joking or laughs, guess what? You just challenged me to make sure that will come true. So you are welcome, my coworkers who will be getting peanut butter banana tofu sandwiches for lunch today. That's what you get for doubting me. Related to that, Peter started making a joke that I should make a cooking channel on YouTube. And I said, oh my gosh, Peter, I don't think you realize what you've just done. And he moved on in a normal conversation and a normal human, but something had shifted in my brain. A seed had been planted. And I told Peter, I said, I don't know if you realize what you've just done. You're like when my partner suggests pizza on a day, on a night, when I didn't think about pizza the whole day. I was thinking about making something else. There was no point when I thought about pizza, but the moment someone mentions it and it's in my head, we're having pizza. We're having pizza. So Peter, you've planted the seed, and my coworkers, you fired me up to feed you and make these banana tofu peanut butter sandwiches. So we're going to jump into it. That's kind of the story of how this book came across. In terms of this whole standing in front of the camera thing, like a fool, there's kind of a few reasons I'm doing this. I won't go too in depth, but the one reason is I think something my teacher education taught me is watching yourself speak to a group, which is very hard if you're not filming yourself or some kind of technology. Is incredibly beneficial to developing your own skills. So I used to have a lot of ideas about how I taught, but until I saw it and I realized that what I was thinking or saying wasn't matching what I was doing or showing or asking for, a connection was kind of made, and that changed kind of my approach to teaching. So I realized instead of being worried about not being comfortable in front of groups or in front of a camera, or in front of anyone, I gotta practice it. I gotta do it. I gotta find a way to get in front of a camera. So if I can find a way to get in front of a camera, while also surprising my coworkers with banana peanut butter tofu sandwiches, while also educating about health and myths and our relationship with what we eat and how that relates to the relationship with ourselves and others, and the importance of creating and sharing food, and how meaningful that is, and how that's kind of getting lost in today's society. It kind of falls at the bottom of the pecking order of what we think is important. So I find a personal obligation to improve myself and share this, but also just to spread awareness. There's a lot of misinformation out there on what's healthy and what's not. It's not difficult to determine what's healthy or not. I don't mean to be patronizing. Foods that are whole, that you can not really find, but technically find, are healthy for the most part. So a banana, because it is from a tree, is healthy. A lemon, which you can find, is healthy. A lot of fruit, vegetables, red, when you can see, oh, that is an oat. There is some flour in here. There are some ingredients. The thing when it gets a little bit tricky, a little bit challenging, is with some of the good stuff. Some of the stuff which we all love, and we all have our different kind of guilty pleasures. But for me, this also kind of connects to the cultural or the sharing. This reminds me of my childhood. Candy. I've always been obsessed with candy, and I have had trouble controlling my urges eating them. They're delicious and I love them, but unfortunately not very healthy. Similarly, shout out to anyone who struggles with, I don't want to say addiction, but just enjoying cheesies a little bit too much. Having them more than you should. And then something maybe not quite as ominous is something I'm becoming aware of is things like pasta sauce that might seem very innocent from the store. Actually has a lot of ingredients. So one of the great ways to see if it's a whole food, other than going into like organics or anything, is just the amount of ingredients. My camera's not focusing, but as you can see, there's 3 or 4 lines of ingredients here, and that's too many. It's tomato sauce. I need some tomatoes, maybe some salt. I do not need citric acid, modified cornstarch. And all these things, usually when they have long words, that means beware. Things which we find in the ground and the earth are easy to name because they're from the earth. And we've had them around for centuries. So let's get into some cooking.